It is Yubel deck profile time. Imagine it. It's finally here. I finally can tell you what I'm going on about. In this video, I don't just have one Yubel list, or just two. I have three, technically four if you count the Yubel Fenrir, but it's literally just Yubel with like 3 Fenrirs in there. But I have 3 lists to go through and show you. We'll start with the one we have defaulted here. Yubel. Now, I'll explain everything in this deck pretty simple. We have 1 Yubel the Ultimate Nightmare, 1 Yubel Terra Incarnate, 3 Spirit of Yubel, 2 regular Yubel. Don't do that. Don't do 2 regular Yubel. It's unneeded. 1 Geist Grinder Golem, 1 red, 1 blue. If you want to know why I call them that, watch this video here. I play 3 Shifter, 3 Dark Beckoning Beast, 3 Droll, and 3 Samsara Lotus. And that's all it is for monsters. Next, we have 2 Talents, 1 Cooled By, 3 Super Polymerization, 1 Mature Chronicle, 3 Nightmare Pain, 2 Opening the Spirit Gates, 1 1-for-1, 1 Abominable Chamber of the Unchained Trap, 3 Infinite Impermanence, and 1 Eternal Favorite. So let me explain some of the ratios, the cards, yada yada. So first off, why am I playing the Ultimate Nightmare? It's pretty obvious. It's another card to go into once you pop Terra Incarnate, so it makes when a Terra Incarnate is popped, it's not just dead and gone. So in my regards, I believe that just works. 3 Spirit of Yubel because it's a combo starter and a really good card, and if they attack into you, you can summon it. It went up multiple times, yada yada. 2 Yubel, it's not a good ratio. Played at 1. I don't suggest playing it anymore. I just played it at 2 because it came up. 1 got banished, and then I was able to summon another one off the Spirit of Yubel when it got destroyed. Obviously, you can just summon Spirit of Yubel and summon another one, but the fact of the matter is that it's kind of just a brick, and that honestly, if I had the choice, I'd probably just play another Unchained Trap, because popping that with rather blue or red just means that you can summon DDD Wave Hiking Caesar for free. Now, Geist Grinder Golem, I like it at higher numbers, I do, but the reality is when you brick on 2 of them, and then you can't see another one, or you brick on this without another Yubel monster, it just makes life really hard. So I like playing 1 because it's searchable, and that normally is enough. But the reality is that if you want to play 1 goes in and 1 rivalry with it, chances are you need to play a higher number of them. So when I take out another Yubel, I'm rather putting in another Talents, Unchained Trap, or Geist Grinder Golem. So be aware of that. Honestly, right now I'll probably change this. I'll probably go 3 Talents instead. But I won't, just for the sake of the video. But if I was going to play right now, that is what I would do. So I play a Shavara and a Shoyama, aka red and blue. They're Unchained cards, they're good. Do I need to describe? They're combo starters and combo extenders. They make a broken card. Anyway, 3 Shifter, because Shifter is just insane. You can play it in this deck, you can play around in this deck, and you can completely lock your opponent out of playing. I have played against Snake Eyes before where I've activated this, I wasn't recording, and they just weren't able to play. And then I just decimated because they had literally nothing. They had no resources, they couldn't play, they just passed on 1 imperm set and it didn't really do anything. It would have done something if I didn't have 1-for-1 in hand. Huh? But that's not really their fault, to be fair. Dark Beckoning Beast. It's a really good card. If it gets ashed, you still get your second normal summon. If it doesn't get ashed, you get to grab Opening the Spirit Gates, maybe summon another one, and then link off. So it is just very good in this entire deck. 3 Droll. It's just one of those formats. I don't know what to say, man. I want to go home. 3 Samsara D Lotus. It is kind of nuts. This card, you just summon, then you tribute, and then bring out Spirit of Yubel. Spirit of Yubel effect. It's just a +2? +3. And then it reoccurs in the end phase if you have a Yubel, so you contribute it, which is really nice. Worst case scenario, you contribute something else, and then you have a monster transfer / negate, meaning you can pop this in during your opponent's turn because you just don't like one of their monster effects and summon out the Terra Incarnate. Now, Talents. What does it do? It's insane. Monster effect goes off during your turn, you can rather rip a card, take a monster, or draw 2. It's so versatile that Konami should ban this fucking card. It is amazing. I would play it at 3, but honestly, I feel like every time I play it at 3, I just see 2 of them in my opening hand, more often than not. Even though it doesn't make sense mathematically, it just happens. So this card hates me. I just deal with it at that point. Cooled by the Grave at 1. Another card they should rather have at 0 or 3. It's just... it's sacky and a pain in the ass, but you gotta play it because if you don't, let's be honest. It's real good against Fire Kings. If you go second into Fire Kings and you just fire off the Cooled by the Grave, hit them in Promethean Princess, that is nuts, because now you don't have to deal with that interruption. You have also other ways where if you play into that board and then they get rid of the Flameberg effect, you can just Cooled by it off. My favorite thing to do is to Super Poly off of the Flameberg and the Ambler Whale into, I think it's, I mean, it doesn't really matter which one you do. I'm pretty sure because they're both same type of attribute. No, it would be same attribute with different types. You would summon it, you'd go Super Poly on the Ambler Whale and the Flameberg Dragon into Mud Dragon of the Swamp. And then on doing so, now you can just cool by the Flameberg Dragon on Resolution, which is insane because they need the Flameberg Dragon to pop off with their effects. Super Poly, do I need to say more? This card's insane, it breaks boards, it does everything you need it to. It's good disruption if you get impermed, it's an insane card, it lets you turn their monsters into your monster, which burns them and then you can hit them. It's a good game closer in battle phase. It's a crazy ass card. Mature Chronicle. This card's insane. Have you read this card? It said you can grab any banished card. That card can be face down. I just wish it had more application for grabbing face down banished cards, because that would be kind of nice. But you know, at least for the most part, if your cards get banished off of like a Cashier or Fenrir or something else, you can still grab them, which is a really nice effect. I did experiment with playing 3 Pot of Desires, and honestly, it goes off sometimes, but not all the time. And it's one of those situations where it's like, well, if it goes off sometimes and not all the time, why am I playing it? Because I need things that are consistent, not just super powerful. You can, by all means, play this deck with like 3 extra Allure of Darkness or Pot of Desires. It does work, just understand if you're going to use the Pot of Desires, use it after you've grabbed Mature Chronicle. The problem is, at that point in the combo, you're not going to be grabbing a 10 of those cards. There is definitely a way you can do it, it's a very specific hand. 3 Nightmare Pain. This card's insane. Should I say more? It's a combo starter, it's a combo extender, you can pop your monsters and get more monsters on the field, it lets you win the games. It's one of your best cards in the entire deck. Opening of the Spirit Gates. Recursion, combo extender, it's crack. It lets you get back continuous spells, it lets you discard a card to get blue into the graveyard, so then you can use blue effect. And then on Resolution, you then get rather a Spirit of Yubel, a Yubel, a Terra Incarnate, I don't think you can some of these do, a Yubel, a Spirit of Yubel, or Dark Beckoning Beast, or Samsara the Lotus back onto the field, which is nuts. 1 for 1. Should I say more? Samsara the Lotus is a level 1. It's literally in the artwork of the picture. I mean, it's the original, but you get my point. The Abominable Chamber of the Unchained. It's searchable, that's why people run it at 1. I personally, in my recent decks, have been playing it at 2, because at 2, it's just crack. Because you're going to draw it more often, you set and pop with either blue or red, and then you get both of them on the field, which is just really, really nice. It's good during your opponent's turn 2 if you've gone through Soul of Rage already, because then you can just link off again, which is really, really nice. Just link away 2 of your monsters, which is really strong. 3 Infinite Impermanence, because it's just a decent hand trap, it's all around good. Enough said, really. Like, it can turn off spells and traps, it can just turn off monster effects. You hit the Snake Eye Ash, and sometimes their turn ends. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, to be fair, they would have bricked at that moment, but that's still not terrible. And then Eternal Favorite. I like the idea of playing this at 2. Normally you can't, though. It's a really good card. It has a Super Poly effect. It has a recursion effect. For some reason in Omega, when you resummon Spirit of Yubel, it doesn't allow you to use Spirit of Yubel effect, which isn't correct at all. I'm pretty sure it happens on Resolution, which means you should be able to activate Spirit of Yubel effect and then search another card, which is kind of nasty. For the extra deck, we play 3 Yubel the Loving Defender Forever, which the Liberal Archer sounds so much better. It's a really good card. It's a Yubel deck, and you're playing this? What's wrong with you? Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. 2 dark monsters on the field. It's usable. It comes up more than I'd like to admit. Worst case scenario, I'm playing against Mannadium, and I normally side into Dragon Knight Draco. I don't know how to say that last word, and I'm not even going to attempt to. I side into this, and the only reason I'm playing this in my side deck when I could be playing another Power 1-of, the same reason I'm not playing another Power 1-of in the main deck, is just because I have a lot of 1-ofs taking up space. So I thought, we'll stuff it. I'll just put an extra deck card. Garura, really insane Super Poly target. My Dragon Swamp, really insane Super Poly target. They've won me games on their own just by existing on the field or just having something to go into with Super Poly and taking away their monsters. Zeus, integral in the mirror match. Just don't put any spell cards on the field. I mean, you can, it just ends up fucking you in the long run. Typhoon, it's really good. Sometimes you need it. It turns off your opponent's Zeus, it turns off a bunch of stuff from stuff, and sometimes it's the only thing you can go into. Cannon Juggernaut Libe, OTK closer, and Gustav Max, also an OTK closer. If you put Geist Grinding on their side of the field, and Spirit of Yubel attack into it, main phase 2 go into this, you win. This card's insane. Do I have to really talk about it? It's a special summon negate from spells, traps, and monsters that you can do twice per turn. that you can just do as many times as it has the material. You're only going to do that twice, but that's crack. It's crack. Unchained Soul, Lord of Yama. This card's insane. I really don't think I need to say that more than I already have. Unchained Soul of Rage. Also insane. This card lets you link with your opponent's monsters, which is nuts, which means you can go into SP Little Knight with their monster and then banish something on their field, which is just crack. Lord of Yama, I should probably go back and say that it has two effects. One being that you can just add any Unchained monster from your deck to your graveyard to your hand, which is really nice. Normally you add blue, but you can add red in certain situations. If a card's you control is destroyed by battle or card effect while this card is in your graveyard, you can banish his cards, but summon one B monster from your hand or graveyard, then you can destroy one card in the field. This is really nice, and it's a really good secondary effect for Lord of Yama, and especially in this deck where you can pop your own monsters, pop your opponent's monsters, pop anything on the field, and it's basically your own like little Promethean princess, just almost not as good because everything needs to be destroyed. But normally you can get this off. If this is in the graveyard and you use the Samsara D Lotus monster effect to negate something on your opponent's side of the field, to negate a monster effect, this just goes off for free. So you then get a Omni transfer and you get a pop on this side of the field, which is kind of crack. SP Little Knight, I don't need to explain this. This card's insane. It's too expensive though, genuinely. Muckracker of the Underworld. Sometimes you can just climb up into a Soul of Rage, which is really nice. I don't love that it Fiends lock you, but it's also not that bad. The side deck. 3 summon limit, 3 skill drain, 1 rivalry, 1 goes in, 3 cosmic, 3 soul release, and this card, I've really said it before. These cards are insane. These cards are insane. These cards are insane. All you will go do is side 2 of these in. I normally side all of this in, and then if I see one of this, I just go grab Gaiskana Golem and then summon it to my opponent's side of the field and lock them in. It's hard to pull off sometimes, but if you know you have one of these, normally it's not that bad. It's a situation of you just have to change your end board, because the reality is that locking them into a Dark Fiend, unless they're playing the same deck, stops them from playing. Cosmic Cyclone, because it can chain to any floodgate, including Anti-Spell Fragrance. You do play a lot of spells, you need that. Soul Release, just because it's good against Snake Eyes, and some other decks, like Reptiles, I guess. But my point is that it's just good against a lot of decks where you can just activate and then just get rid of most of their graveyard. That is deck 1. Now this is the list 2. You might be thinking, holy shit, Jet, you're going to have to explain so much over and over again. No, I've already explained the majority of it, and I've only done small changes here and there. The changes in this deck specifically is I'm just main decking 3 skill drain and 3 summon limit. I took out the 3 imperm and I took out the talents, and I've also got Veiler just in case you really need more effect negation, or Shifter or Droll just isn't doing it because in that matchup it does nothing. The reason this is good is because if you Droll or Shifter and they can't play, say you're playing against Snake Eyes, you activate Shifter and they just pass their turn, and you have one of these, now you just skip their turn again, which is really, really nice. Same with Droll, you're going up against a Vanadium, you can skip their turn, then do this again, which is really, really nice. This whole idea is there is no turn 1, there's only turn 2, and I'm about to lock you out of playing the game. I like playing this variant, it's fun. I don't really have anything else to say. If I really can't lock them out, I just play more hand traps and talents, and it works against them in the best way possible. I also have Soul Release if it in fact is Snake Eyes, but against Snake Eyes you still have Shifter, so in other words, I normally just go this into that, and then I just bring in the Imperms and the Veilers, all the talents, and then I'm chilling. But list 3, this is just a slightly different list. Genuinely not much changes here other than I'm playing 3 Ash in the side instead of the 2 Gozen and the 1 Draco. And I'm playing an Apollousa because you can climb up to it and it is a good card. Do I suggest it overall? No, I don't think it's that great. But I do play 2 of the Trap and sometimes this just goes off and it's nuts. These are the only variants that I've changed. Is this technically 3 deck lists? No. But it is 3 deck lists enough. There's also, I mean, the Fenrir version. If you guys want just to play 3 Fenrir, I suggest it. It's crack. It's really good. Arguably, I've been tempted just to throw it in this one, just because 3 Fenrir is a really good card. Now, I hope I explained that as well as I could. I don't really know what else to say. I worked really hard on the main list. You could say, oh, you could just copy it. I did, but I also tried to learn what made it tick and why it was good. So I decided that I would take things out, like to Yubel, because it wasn't at all needed. I would play this stuff in the main because it goes off more than enough. I will say, though, overall, if you wanted to play something, I would just take this out and I would play this. This is probably the best way you can play the deck right now. Well, there are probably better deck lists out there. Heck, just wait for a regional top and then play that, realistically. But this is my version, and it goes off more than I'd like to admit. Which basically means I get fucked sometimes, and most of the time I do the fucking. I hope that explains things. Thank you for watching. I know the main reason I made this is because Mason wanted an updated version of this. And all I can really say is, hey dude, you got your deck profile. I played the game for 24 hours for you, and I appreciate it anyway because you made me make a video that did really well. So, appreciate you. Love you all. Check out the main channel and leave a sub if this is at all something you want to play or something you've played or you just like Yubel. I don't know. Just fucking subscribe to the channel, man. Just do it. Love you. Bye.